So while Biden's posting new constitutional amendments on X, Trump's posting all his political appointments on Truth Social, and your college friends are posting cries for help on LinkedIn. But then in the middle of it all, Trump dropped this one. It is my honor to announce Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone to be special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California. These three very talented people will be my eyes and ears, and I will get done what they suggest. It will again be, like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood. Rocky, Braveheart, and the guy from Mission Impossible 1. Turns out that 12-year-old me was right about who would save America. Mel Gibson, however, says that he found out about it with the rest of us. I got the tweet at the same time as all of you and was just as surprised. Nevertheless, I heed the call. My duty as a citizen is to give any help and insight I can. Like Mel, I have no idea what all this means, but I like it. It could be that Trump is just saying that he'll call these guys once in a while to ask how Hollywood's doing, just so he doesn't have to read Variety. It could also be that Trump is starting a movie studio to make steroid-fueled action flicks and kids' movies about Baldy the Eagle, and Mexico will pay for it. Either way, it sends a good signal. It shows that Trump doesn't see American political life as a separate thing from American culture and stories. These three guys have been in movies that are still cultural touchstones. They're not one-hit wonders or lightweights who happen to get lucky. And there's a history of at least state-level politics determining where and how movies get made. The studios originally moved to California because Florida pushed them out. Georgia became a hub of film and TV because the state government was friendly to it. I don't know what the federal equivalent is, but maybe we'll see. Maybe new regulations, maybe a state-funded Rambo reboot starring Barron. So I may not know what it means, but I know that it sends the right signal. I also know how the left will respond. 1. They'll dismiss it as a meaningless gesture. 2. They'll bring up these guys' past scandals. And 3. They'll call them washed up. The question is, will these things work? First, the dismissal. That's what Jimmy Kimmel did on his show last night between bursts of weeping. But like I said, if it's a gesture, it's not meaningless. Politics and entertainment are bound up together. I know, it sounds crazy. Then there's the scandals. Let's take these guys one by one. First, and I say this with affection, Mel Gibson is a crazy person. They've already brought up his voicemails, his DUI, his offensive comments, but these are things that happened decades ago and that he regrets. Jon Voight has only ever gotten in trouble for liking Trump. Oh, and for slapping a guy on set one time. But the guy only went public with it years later when Voight endorsed Trump. Now the only thing the world knows that guy for is getting slapped by Jon Voight and being the big Kahuna Burger kid. What a resume. Stallone has fewer scandals, but anybody who's been in the public eye since the 70s is going to have some kind of story. The difference is that when you're on the team, the system will cover for you. The Josh Brolin character in Hail Caesar is a real thing. But none of these scandals have the same weight they would have several years ago. Post-Epstein, post-Diddy, post-Bryan Singer, we can see that they don't really care about morality. The other thing the left will do is make fun of these guys' work, and I'll admit there is material there too. Stallone did do Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Jon Voight did do every Baby Geniuses sequel. And Mel's done some low-budget stuff in the last few years that doesn't exactly shine. But that's the nature of the business. Career missteps happen. But the last movie Mel Gibson directed was nominated for Best Picture. He was nominated for Best Director. Mel won Best Director for Braveheart, which also got Best Picture. So what happened? Were people just so scandalized they stopped seeing his movies? Well, here's a story from the man himself.
What do you think when people say, I won't see that, it's a Mel Gibson movie?
I was on live television one time, and Anderson Cooper sort of got it. People actually booed when the credits on your film came up at the beginning of the movie. And I'm saying, like at the beginning of the film, when my name came, yeah, they booed. And I said, the credits aren't on the beginning of the film. So he's full of shit.
So the people didn't turn on him, the industry did. But what do they have to offer? I would much rather watch a B- Stallone movie than literally any Disney Plus original. Jabs at these guys are kind of a throwback, the kind of thing Hollywood could get away with when they were on top. You can dunk on someone's career when the industry is doing just fine without them. But Hollywood's revenge body isn't looking too hot. Of course, there's the Marvel and Star Wars slop. But what about the originals, the ones not based on any existing IP? Believe it or not, they are still making them, and they have big stars. Let's see how many of these you've heard of. Back in Action, Wolves, The Instigators, Argyle, Ghosted, Jackpot, Ricky Stenicki, Freelance. All of these came out in the last year, but nobody cares. It's just more stuff for you to scroll past on your way to rewatch Seinfeld for the 14th time. Hollywood is dead or dying, and it's not going to get better by doing more of the same. If America's going to have some kind of positive future, that's going to be reflected in the stories we tell. So what can Trump do? I'm not really sure. There doesn't seem to be much cause for optimism in the big centers of storytelling. To be honest, it looks like Trump has as much of a chance of fixing Hollywood as he does of getting Israel and Hamas to agree on a ceasefire.